Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's happy hour. I hope you are all well. We are live here on Wednesday, November 3rd. So excited to see all of you and have some chats about fundraising and donor relations. So looking forward to having you join us. Hi, everybody. Welcome aboard. Hope you are all well. We are going to be chatting today. Let's see. Today's question Ashley and I came up with. Our latest blog talks about scary donor situations or things that were frightful. And we shared some of our donor horror stories. What are some of your donor horror stories or your fundraising scary stories? I'd love to hear from you in the comments about something that happened. No, we didn't have a happy hour 2 weeks ago. So no, we didn't have one. We did not have one. So just this week. So what are your scary donor stories, scary fundraising stories? What are those? So what's something scary that happened to you? And it doesn't have to be actually scary. So hi Peggy, hi Kevin, welcome aboard. Hi Julie. Yeah, what are your donor scary stories, or what's something scary that happened to you in donor relations or fundraising, or something where you're like, oh, I can't believe that happened. We shared our scary stories last week on the blog. Of course, many of you know my scariest donor story, which is when I had a donor eat potpourri at one of my events. So that was fun. And then I was on death watch all night thinking she was going to die. And she didn't. She lived a whole nother 7 years after eating potpourri. I know her name. I know her red lipstick still haunts my dreams. You received your largest gift ever. Congratulations. That's not scary. That's popping bottles. That's awesome, Kevin. I have an email from you in my inbox. I have been on back to Zoom. So, okay, Julie says we recently sent the wrong email to a whole group of donors, mix match the message to the people. Oy vey, yes, oy vey. But the good news is that we don't do brain surgery or heart surgery. Nobody died, Julie, and hopefully you just issued a simple apology and moved on. So Peggy says it's scary when politics invade your fundraising. So our year-end solicitation got lost in the mail. Folks, if you are not already sending out your year-end solicitation, you are going to be behind. The United States Postal Service is saying that it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks for first-class mail, and it's going to be more expensive. So I hope your mailings are already out there. We once mailed a postcard that said, "We wish you were here," and someone on my team forgot to exclude dead donors, and so someone's who had passed wife got it, and she was like, "I wish he was here too." So, fundraising scaries. It happens. My favorite one that wasn't my mistake is on the commencement program at the Lyndon B. Johnson School of Public Affairs at the University of Texas. They left out the L on the cover of the commencement booklet, and it said the Lyndon B. Johnson School of Pubic Affairs. I saw a campus magazine where they misspelled basketball on the cover. Seen all kinds of scary things, just a fun, interesting world of fundraising that we live in, right? So we've all had not so great moments, but my scariest was when a donor ate potpourri. Yeah, the typos can be super serious. My friend Angie had a tornado hit one of her events, and she had to firemen carry someone. Yeah, my friend Jill unfortunately had a person pass away at her event. He was playing a musical instrument as part of a performance, and he had a massive coronary and died right there on the president's house's floor. So, no one dies, hopefully. Let's see. Kylie says a letter saying retraining faculty, not retaining. That's awesome. Freudian slip, I think so. Hey, Whitney, had a student record a personalized thank you to a group of parents, and she burped in the middle of her script and kept going. The email went out. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I'm loving it. Lindsay says it was my first year as a fundraiser. A donor asked me to pick up money he raised for an event at his office. I pulled up to what it was his house where he invited me in and asked him to follow him into the basement. I thought I was going to die. He was a hoarder and his house smelled like moldy cheese. He gave you the $1,000 and you got out. Okay, I watched way too Dateline for that. Way too much Dateline for that. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was my first, let's see, unexpectedly, our CEO resigned just before we planned to do a round of thank you calls to donors. We're going to move ahead as planned, making sure our board chair handles the donors that would have concerns they want to raise or may have connections to the CEO. Oh, I thought this was a scary story. Sorry. Laura's already moved on to question and answer, which y'all send them in. Any particular advice for you? So your CEO resigned. You're going to do thank you calls. But we're going to do the board chair instead of the CEO. Any advice? I think that you have to be careful to make sure that, there's a line as to how much information you want to give out about your CEO leaving. So make sure that you have talking points for that. Make sure that everybody doing calls has talking points for that. And so, but other than that, I think keep it focused on the donor and their giving, and hopefully not a lot of that'll come up. Holly says, my boss used to work at a Catholic university and a publication went out with an autocorrect from profit to profit. I love that. I love that. Melanie says, I work at a Catholic university. We sent an invitation to a chicken dinner on a Friday during Lent. I love that. I love that. Urban says, got an unfriendly letter. I love it. That is the nicest way I've heard someone say a nastygram. I usually say a nastygram. An unfriendly letter after we sent a gratitude card that had several international flags visible, in addition to about 150 faculty, staff, students, and alumni dressed in college colors, but you were missing a United States flag. Good times. It's the most obvious thing, right? And oh my God, Kevin, please tell me this is made up. Someone started singing You've Lost That Love and Feeling on one knee at the table next to me and proposed while I was in the middle of my major gift presentation to a group of 3 donors. Oh my God. I would have turned to the donors and been like, if you don't give now, that's what's next. So love that. Love that. Roman says, during the middle of a live auction, live auctions, we learned that a corporate donor included items we hadn't accounted for, help stress, flexibility, and grace under pressure. Smile and wave, boys. Yes. Yeah, I think Catherine Kevin wins. I thought a donor eating potpourri was bad, but I don't know how you kept it, because I would have wanted I would have wanted to get involved in the proposal and send them over a bottle, and oh God, I mean, I guess you can't control public places, right? So, but at least that was a memorable major gift visit. I can't, you guys. Fundraising is such an interesting, yeah, I went to an organization's auction event, all this pre-COVID, and I was like, it looked like, well, all the silent auction items were things that people clearly didn't want in their house. And so I'm there with a friend, and I had had a few drinks, and we found a water heater blanket as one of the silent auction items. And I was like, who needs a water heater blanket? And then I really knew I was in the wrong place when they brought out a puppy and they were auctioning off the puppy. And I was like, oh my God. And every year they auctioned off a puppy. Like, can you imagine? Like, you come home and your spouse or partner, somebody's like, look what I got at the auction. And they like have like a dog. Oh, so yeah. I also had, you guys are going to love this one. I had a group of alumni volunteers. We love alumni volunteers. And they decided to host a golf tournament that had been going on for a while. And so they got girls from local bars to come out to help drive their golf carts. And about 15 minutes into the start of this golf tournament, I get a picture of the girls not wearing a lot of clothing, and the alumni gentleman, and I use that phrase used loosely, had decided to auction the girls off to the highest bidder to go who would drive whose cart. And so I had alumni auctioning human beings at a golf tournament. And so that was the end of that golf tournament forever. Yeah. So that's what they were doing with our logo, with our, university. So that was a day from hell. And, we ended up having to go in front of, the university legal team. And, it was a good day. Me and my friend Jenny got word of it, of course, because they posted on social media. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known. No, that's not the only reason I don't like golf outings, but they auctioned off girls to sit and drive their golf carts because they had seen it done at other golf tournaments, and God love volunteers, right? So, scary things going on. But what's not scary is that you are all here and we are all together on our happy hour. It is November. Holy crap, it's November. What happened to October? Like, what happened to October? And I hope you all are doing well. We're getting near end of year fundraising. We're getting near Giving Tuesday. All those fun things. We had our annual business meeting at Donor Relations Guru this past weekend, and whoa boy, am I excited. So we have so many new things coming for 2022. So I'll give you some sneak peeks. One, we're going to have a subscription offering, so you can subscribe to Donor Relations Guru on multiple levels. So that's going to be our new webinar series is so good. I mean, like, so good. We're going to have in-person conferences in 2022, like our small intimate gatherings in, Sacramento, Chicago, Houston. I'm going to be speaking at a lot of case district conferences. Such exciting things. And my friends Brent and JD merged companies. Thankview and Evertrue are now one, and we're so excited for them. DRG is going to play a huge role with them. We're going to be designing a GRM, a gratitude resource manager. I mean, just so many in-person conferences, Andrea. Sacramento, Chicago, and Houston to start the year. And then I think we're going to do New York City and Boston in the fall, winter time. Because, so I'm going to be speaking at case 1, 2, 3, and 4. Going to be speaking at NATO, going to be speaking at AFP Icon, hopefully. So I'm going to get back out there some. I am keeping up with work-life balance. So I'm going to stay here and just travel 1 week a month. So, so very exciting news. Our subscriptions that we're going to offer, so cool. And they have cute names, Core, Key, and Pillar. And so I just love them, and I love what we're doing. We're going to do DE&I series part 2. Just so much exciting. I'm like, I got my notebook because I'm like, okay, what are the other things that we're, so we're doing a DE&I series part 2. We're going to do a whole series on tech tools, like the Excel webinars that we did. We're going to do courses on writing for donor relations, namings. We're going to do one on events and one on data-driven decisions. We're going to still do happy hours. We're probably going to move to monthly for right now. But we are going to, our commitment to happy hours will stay. We're going to increase our use of video. So working on some filming and some other stuff there. Yeah, so I'm so excited of some of the things and the content. And we hired our marketing specialist, Ashley, used to be part-time, and she's going to be full-time in 2022. So we are, oh, what is on the cover of my notebook? Llamas. It says Love in Life. And this is my DRG note. I have a notebook for each part of my life. Oh, Kevin, you can host happy hour with me. That sounds great. Let's do it. So I have notebooks for each. I have one for Otter. I have one for this. I have, I still like an old school notebook every now and again to do some things. And look, we even have a page for 2023 and beyond planning. So, oh, and I got some very cute Otter stickers. Look at these. These are memo tabs that are otters. Look at these cute little buggers right here. Look at the, wait, they're sticky notes that are otters. I mean, sorry, they were inside my birthday cards that my friend sent me. I get my mail shipped over from the United States, and it was awesome. Yeah, Diana, I'm with you. I love a work notebook still. I've done Rocket Books. I've tried to use my iPad. Oh, and my friend Sarah got me this. I feel like I should send this to you, Katuri, because you and I live this lifestyle. But yes, it's hilarious. It's not appropriate, obviously. So it fits me very well. And I just love what's in it. So I'm gonna be doing these things. So it has a bunch of activities in it. Yes, Ashley is quitting her second job and she's coming on full time. So we're gonna have so much more amazing content. And oh, I also got Lizzo stickers, because you need Lizzo stickers in your life. You didn't know that, but you need this, yes, and you need you have this. Yes, this is amazing. Yes, Ashley is quitting her job and taking the leap, and we're so excited to have her. So much more content coming your way, and we're gonna have the Pulse of Donor Relations soon. And we were busy this past weekend. We worked hard. We did it remotely. We're gonna have one in person in April in Houston. So you need all those things, y'all. I have the cutest birthday cards that my team sent me. Sassy, classy, and badassy. Like they really did. And I got a life trophy. I got the golden unicorn trophy for my life. It's very, very awesome. So if you haven't gotten a golden unicorn, it's the highest quality of plastic. But yeah, I had some great people love on me. So yes. Let's get back to work now that I've distracted you with notebooks and things like that. So Lindsay says, what are some ideas on how we can track stewardship successes that happen throughout the year? I've been able to do some of this by using an Excel sheet, but the difficult part is getting the fundraisers to report back to me so I can track our stewardship and cultivations wins. I hate to ask them to fill out another form. I know they're busy. Lindsay, this is really great. So one of the things that donor relations professionals face is we don't brag on ourselves enough. Like, we don't pick up the mic and be like, this is important. And so oftentimes people don't know what we do. They don't know when we have a win. But boy, when we make a mistake, everybody and their mother knows about it. So what I try to do is, are you back in the office? If you're back in the office, it's quite simple. You hang up a whiteboard and you say successes on one side and recommendations on the others. And you have people, when they walk by, write down some of their successes. The other thing I do is, whenever a donor compliments anything we've done, I have them forward me the email, so that we can note those wins. So forward me that email, and I keep a folder of, I call it keeping my job folder, so that when people are like, ooh, you're in trouble, I whip out the keeping my job folder. And so really, really love doing that. And then the other thing I do, a smile file. Oh my God, Kevin has a name for it. Of course, Kevin has a name for it, and it probably has glitter and fun things on it, a smile file. And then the other thing that I do is, at the end of every effort, we do an impact report internally, Lindsay. So I do an impact report that shows how many donors we reached, how much money we reached, and also any kudos or anything that went along with it, I save in those internal impact reports. So the other thing, again, if you can't put up a whiteboard for suggestions / kudos, put out a kudos box or a kudos jar. So that's another thing that you could do. So those are just some of the ideas. But now I've got smile files stuck in my head, and I'm just so freaking happy for it. So, oh, Julie, has anyone recently used a live stamp instead of a BRM? Specifically, this is a holiday type card with a tear-off postcard for the recipient to write to us with their "What inspires you" story. I'm going to put a pin in that and come back. Kevin said, or create a team if you use Microsoft Teams. That's a great idea. They can pop it in. In Slack, I have a praise channel. So we have that in Slack where people can heap praise on other people. So that's another thing you could do, internal channels. So just giving you some ideas. Okay, I'm going to come back to Julia's question. Okay, Julie has, okay, live stamp. So I have been told by my direct mail vendors, of which I trust implicitly, that live stamp, especially over the holiday season, is going to get prioritized over using indicia or prepaid postage, BRM. So I would be very careful. I would use stamps. I've been told that it's going to take a long time for mail to get through. And I really think that we should be using stamps if we wanted to get through. So that's just my opinion. Also, I found out through my friends that they have otter stamps. And so I had Shannon go out and to the post office online and buy a bunch of otter stamps, because I am a stamp hoarder. I have Muppet stamps and Wonder Woman's. I agree with you, Julie. I think you're going to get a better response than you are on a pre-indiciated card. So feels more personal. Again, also, are you giving them a website that they can link to and go there? So yes, yeah. Okay, Faten, is it Faten? I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name. I suck. University of Toledo. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, we did a fund audit for you all. First ever happy hour. Welcome. Looking to start documenting the history of namings at our university. Woo! And establish a naming policy. Any tips and thoughts as I start to tackle this huge project? So Understand that namings are both physical and metaphysical. Ooh, used a big word. We did. Yeah. And so you have to track down namings, not just for physical plant, but for departments, for chairs, for things like that. I don't necessarily think it's great to spend a lot of time in the history of things. I think it's really smart to look at things moving forward. We do have some naming policies. We also, the case library has some, but honestly, one of my favorites is George Washington University. They have really nice naming policies. Carnegie Mellon used to have really good naming policies, but also you're going to have to adjust your naming policies to your organization. But here are some things that I think are hallmark to any naming policy. Number one, you have to have a morality clause in your gift agreements for namings, meaning if the donor decides to be a douche, can you take their name down? I said it, your donor might be a douche. Take their name down. And if anybody argues with a morality clause, I have 2 words for them: puddin' pops. Puddin' pops. That means Bill Cosby. So if you didn't get that joke from the 1980s, bye, Kevin. See you soon. Don't get too much latte in you. So morality clause. The second thing with namings is, at what point will you put up your signage and have the name? So normally I recommend 51 or 50% of the gift has to be in the door before we put up the naming. So that's something really important. So that's one thing. The next thing is, at what point can you name something after living people, dead people? Are there honorific namings? So you need to handle that. What kind of background check or vetting are you doing before someone's name goes up on a building? Oh, look, Shannon's got GW's naming policy right there. Excellent example. Thanks, Shannon, for posting that. There are many other things. I write naming policies as part of our work. We did one for Montefiore and Einstein Hospital System. It's 26 pages. Renamings, construction, if the building changes use over time, what happens if it's renovated? And if you want to see namings or like construction stuff gone wrong, have you guys heard about this lovely gentleman, wackadoo donor, who is creating this mega dorm in California, and it has no windows or something wackadoo? And this is the second one of his buildings that he's allowed to do like this. I mean, it is, maybe Shannon, you can do billionaire dorm design. Google that and see what comes up. But it is nutso futso what they're allowing him to do. $200 million, I guess, does speak, Sandy. You're right, but and he's done it before. I don't know, but I mean, blah, right? Like, I just want to say, blah, what are we doing here? So it is such a wackadoo story. There's Nicole giving me links. Yeah. Isn't that wackadoo? Yeah. So try not to use, yeah. So why did they agree to that? Who agreed to that? Look, and again, it's we're looking at this in the backseat driver position, right? Obviously. But wow, oh, wow. I want to go like fly in and be like, oh, and Santa Barbara's so pretty. So it's so interesting. Michael, hi, Michael. I'm a months into your first position in stewardship. Yeah, welcome to the family of, Misfit Toys. We're so happy to have you. That's what I call us in donor relations, Misfit Toys. My role is mainly responsible for monitoring the quant data of the accounts and generating reports. Quant. Last time I heard quant was on the TV show Billions, like hedge fund kind of stuff there. Let's see. My position was created in January, is tasked with improving a weak spot within the department. That usually happens. We've had an issue with high undispersed balances on scholarship accounts. Michael, I have never heard of unspent money at an institution before. This is crazy talk. No, it happens all the time. In general, there is a larger, more fundamental issue of non-coordination between advancement, finance, and financial aid. Any suggestions? Yes. We do this all the time in my work. We do fund audits and find unspent balances. Unfortunately, if I told you, it would make all of your hair stand on end. We find millions and millions of dollars of unspent money every year at institutions across the world, Canada, United States. I haven't done one in England yet, but cheerio. I'd like to go to England this summer. So trying to do a conference in London this summer. All that to say, this is a common problem. Welcome to our dysfunction. And the problem results from a couple of things. So I really think that the problem results from a couple, again, big things. Number one, our funds are far too restricted, and therefore we can't spend them. They want a one-legged redheaded swimmer born in Omaha, Nebraska under a full moon in April. Then you can have a scholarship. So that's problem number one. Number two, on the academic side of the house or financial aid, they don't understand how important it is to award these scholarships or funds. And if you're looking at scholarships, honey, wait till you get to, sorry, I didn't mean to call you honey, but I'm Southern and welcome. Wait till you get to faculty funds. That you want to talk about unspent money. They're just waiting for a rainy day. And so, it's ignorance and innocence. So you have to go from the top down and you have to coordinate. And part of the problem also is that advancement, finance, and financial aid also usually at a university run on 3 completely different databases, and none of them talk to each other. So one of the things, so in Evertrue and Thankview merging, and we're working with them to solve what I call, and this is no offense to those of you who are religious, but the Holy Grail problem. For me, the Holy Grail problem is that at most organizations, there's nowhere where on one single screen I can see finance, financial aid, and advancement data all on one screen, fund, donor, and recipient. And so we are building out the ability to see fund, donor, and recipient all on one screen in a software. So thoughts and suggestions. You can call in somebody to help. We're happy to help. B, if you want to do it yourself and this is your task, great. Get a PowerPoint together and show them how much money is unspent, how much that equates to every student on campus, what would happen in the news if they find out, and then you start working at it, and you start working with biggest donor or biggest pot of money first. And you can go and get Cypre. So Sarah Sims is the expert, and Jan McGuire are experts on this. They can walk you through exactly what you can do to release restrictions. You also need to, I don't know if you're a lawyer, but I play one on TV. I'm from the Elwood School of Law. And you also need to read a law called UPMIFA. And how it's been used in your state. I don't know what state you're in, but every state in the United States has adopted UPMIFA. That's the Uniform Prudent Management of Institutional Funds Act. You're welcome for that one. And every state except Pennsylvania has adopted it. And that shows you that you have 18 months to spend the donor funding. Otherwise, you have to roll it into the principal or alert the donor. There's just all kinds of rules around this. So it's very accounting heavy. Happy to help, happy to schedule a conversation even with Sarah, who does this all over the place. So let us know how you're in Louisiana. We've done a fund audit in Louisiana before. So yes. So, yeah. Yep. So very common, but we can help you fix it. And there are lots of resources out there. We have fund audit webinars and other documents. So let us know how we can help you. Yeah. Whew. So April says that's happening where I am now, and I'm in a new job in my department, filling in the gaps. Yeah. And then Diana says, working at a small animal shelter now, I now look back at the massive amount of unspent money at the hospitals and colleges I worked at and cringe. Every penny is spent here. Seriously, find a penny in a hallway, I'll spend it. Isn't it different, Diana? Isn't it different? I have to tell you that there are very few things that get me riled up, as my daddy would say, riled up, the way unspent money does. And I wrote a blog. Maybe Shannon or Ashley can link you guys to the blog 2-3 weeks ago, where I said, why don't, so so follow along with me here, friends. So if I'm a frontline fundraiser and I raise $100,000 unrestricted, I get credit for $100,000. But if I raise $250,000 to go to a one-legged redheaded swimmer born in Omaha, Nebraska under a full moon in April scholarship, I get credit for the full $250,000 and I get celebrated more. Which one is better for my organization? And why don't I get rewarded more for the $100,000 unrestricted than the $250,000 with all the strings and attached? Right? So I think we need to change the way we reward fundraisers, as well, like for the money they bring in. But also we need to put the long-term solution for you, Michael. And again, I can talk you through this. Is we set guidelines that says at this amount of money in the door from the donor, you cannot have any restrictions. At this amount of money, you can have one restriction or one preference. At this amount of money, you can have two preferences, because otherwise it just gets absolutely out of control. So just, I think it's one of the biggest issues. And I think if it's kind of one of those things, okay, y'all, I know y'all know that I'm a little out there. If I were wealthy, I'd be called eccentric, but I'm not wealthy. This is one of those things that the right reporter at the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times, like there would be a documentary and a movie made about it, uncovering unspent money at universities and the waste. And I feel like they would win the Pulitzer Prize. Please don't leak this to them, but I feel like this is one of those kind of cases, that, well, and 3 years later, John was still digging through boxes at the University of blah, 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 finding millions of dollars in unspent money. Oh, the scandal. Anywho, shh. Okay. Okay. Lindsay says, our leadership team just decided to replace a handful of events with one big event next spring. And money raised will benefit our unrestricted fund at our children's hospital. Yay. The event was just announced that a big-time country singer will be putting on a concert. Sorry. I should have on a mask. Sounds like we're selling tickets to the public, but major gift donors will be invited to a VIP pre-party for a fund a need. Any thoughts on how to incorporate mission into this? Can you help? I hate this idea. I'm sorry. I don't understand how that furthers your mission. I just, this really hurts my heart. Does the country singer have anything to do with the children's hospital? I mean, Lord have mercy. I mean, in the VIP area, you could have mission moments, and but I mean, you're not gonna be able to put a mission moment on any general admission ticket and stuff like that. I mean, he was born in your city. Other than that, he has no. Golly, oh my Lord! If I had $1 for every bad idea I hear, I would be eccentric. I'm thinking. Hive mind, y'all are welcome to help Lindsay as well. Can you tie the mission to it? No. And you don't want, so bear with me as I say this. I don't want country singer to parade small, helpless, ill child across the stage because of the children's hospital. That seems gross and exploitative. So make sure they don't, trot a kid out in a wheelchair, or the bald cancer kid, or I just hate that idea. But remember also that the people that buy a ticket, they're not donors. They're just event attendees, right? And there's a big difference between event attendees and donors. I think I would bless it and release it. Bless your heart, for the general ticket people. And I would focus on the VIP pre-party. But also, do we have to call it a party? Can we call it an experience? We don't throw parties. Parties don't have purposes. Let's change this and try to make it have a purpose. So, yeah. Look, Urban, you're getting more money awarded. Good job. Diana says, can the country singer speak to the mission at all? Some kind of connection on why he thinks it's important. I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Unspent money does make us, this is not a great situation for you to be in, but I understand sometimes. Michael says, follow up. My DOs, other advancement, want to hold back reports. No, or get very stressed about reporting this to donors. Okay. So by law, you have to report financials to donors. If not, you'll end up like Princeton, who lost like $990 million, right? You have to report the financials. So instead, you want to communicate and send them a low expenditure letter. I actually have, you like that? Somewhere in my inbox, a letter that says, hey, we're not spending your fund currently, but here's what we plan to do in the future. And I can provide you a sample of that. If you send me an email at info@, you need to identify and tell the donors what is going on. It is your legal obligation as an organization to do that. So, Jasmine is like, it should be a separate event like Freddie Mercury at Africa Aid. It should be something. That's our, so Michael, there is a way to do that. And then, so a lot of you are relating to the unspent funding issue. Yeah, welcome to my world. Although I will say it keeps me employed some days, unspent funds do. So, so from LinkedIn, it says, it's because of the emphasis on the capital campaign and the idea of a major gift. Remember, as an industry, we've been caught twice in the past decade with two calamities that forced universities to look at their annual fund. I totally agree with that. Roman is suggesting I do a 30 for 30. Roman, athletics fundraising has its own closet of horrors I could totally do something on, but I'm trying to stay employed these days. So yeah, no, rant away. I love it. Piggybacking off of Michael's point and what Lynn said about the Holy Grail solution. Sorry if that offended anyone, but the idea is bringing finance, financial aid, and or programs and donors all on one screen in a database, right? We don't have that, and that is part of our problem. I was shocked when I came in and found out there isn't a portal that flags a fund red, yellow, or green, depending on their state, for internal department use, and give access to donors to check on their funds. Ooh. So donor portals are an interesting topic in our industry in general. I would think that would be a great idea internally, but I know that there are big organizations that a department can overspend the funds, and there's no, so for example, if we try to write a check from my banking account right now for $50,000, my bank is going to laugh at us, right? And be like, declined. If I do the same thing and I'm a professor in a department and the department has a $3,000 balance, they can write the $50,000 check, and nobody says, there's no money there at a lot of places. I don't know that I would want to give that live data to donors. And the reason why is I have seen a lot of mistakes when it comes to coding fund numbers where they're off by a digit and it hits the wrong fund. So when I do fund audits, I'm like, wait a minute, this scholarship fund is paying for a faculty member's donuts. And it's never because the faculty member is stealing from the scholarship fund and eating donuts. It's because somebody keyed in the wrong number. So I don't think I'd want donors to have live data into that. donor portals in general, there are places that have donor portals. They tend to be, unfortunately, ineffective because less than 10 to 15% of donors log in because they need a separate login. And, I have clients who have had donor portals who've dismantled them. I've had places try to do their endowment reporting through donor portals, and donors don't go there. They just, like, honestly, I love my alma mater. I'm an engaged donor. But I would never log in and see the stuff on my endowment. I got so much other crap to do in my life. Now, I will accept a report emailed to me, and that's what we built Otter off of. But I'm not going to log in, and so Shay says you've seen new financial tech in various departments key in incorrect information. It gets fixed, but it can be very scary, right? Like they're billing $1 million professorship to a donut fund or vice versa. And it's ignorance and innocence. It's not anybody malfeasance. It's so funny because I have done fund audits for years. I used to do them myself internally as an employee, and now we do them as a business. We've yet to find any malfeasance. We haven't found anybody stealing from the feral cat fund. We find a ton of innocence and ignorance and a ton of unspent money. But nobody's ever like, I'm going to do this to get over on the university or hospital that we've done them for. But it does help, when we're third party, to be like, oh, okay, here's what happened. Usually it's pretty fixable and pretty easy. So keying errors happen, so according to data, I like this, 3% is an error rate, is an acceptable error rate, whether you're keying something in. So I've decided to apply that data to my life. So 3% of my day is going to be an error, is the way I figured, or 3% of my life is going to be an error. So sometimes my errors all come together in one day. Like, y'all know those mornings where you just can't get out of bed, you drop your thing, you slip in the shower, you screw up your breakfast. That's like 3% all bundled together. But sometimes my 3% comes all at once. The day when you have like peanut butter on your clothes and you drop your keys and you can't get your poop together, and you send I sent Ashley an email the other day and it didn't have an attachment, and all my 3% just combined together onto Monday. It's my thought, and I'm sticking with it because some days I have error-free days in my head. Again, I'd be eccentric if I had money. Julie says, on another note, we sent out FERPA permission letters to students, and parents are calling asking if it's a scam. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. I just said JMJ, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Maybe because it's a letter? ? I probably would have sent it out via an email. Everybody's leery of a scam these days. I'll give you guys a funny from our work. People subcontract us out to do impact reports for them, and we love doing them. And, you have to contact a faculty member to get information. And so Jan on our team emailed a faculty member at a particular university and said, hi, I'm Jan. I'm working with so-and-so in this department to help compile impact reports. And if you could just help me by filling out the answers to these questions, we would really appreciate it so we could get your impact report done. They emailed everybody, like 5 or 10 people, going, this is a hoax. This is a hoax. Somebody's trying to steal our information by getting our impact information. And like, they were so suspicious that we have to now send a disclaimer, this isn't a hoax and everything. And I'm like, if this is the way we're attacking your university through impact reporting, we are sadly mistaken. So got a long way to go, but that should have been your scary DR story, Julie. I also think, parents are very involved in students' lives these days. And remember, you can't give out student data to parents. So you're kind of stuck in one of those quagmires, right? I would just be very honest and say that you're trying to get permission to share information. I don't know. People are just super paranoid with everything these days. So, Kylie, I know, right? Like, we're attacking your university by asking your faculty members questions. This is the hoax. So, welcome to my world of my inbox is a disaster zone. Becca, I've changed my approach when emailing Zoom and thank you requests to scholarship recipients thanks to your webinar by adding an escape clause. Oh, Becca, if you are overwhelmed with school and life or just 100% not interested, would you reply and let me know so I won't bug you again? I was hoping I would get more responses, even if it's a no, but still largely getting radio silence. I usually try 2 emails and 1 text if they've opted in, and then leave them alone. I love that you're really meeting students where they are. I wish more people did that with my inbox. If you're overwhelmed with life and just don't want to respond, let me know. I had a client who, in the span of 46 minutes on Monday, sent me 8 emails, all of increasing urgency. And I was in a meeting with the president of a university. It's not like I could get to it. I love that. I really love that approach. And I think even if you don't get better responses, you're still doing the right thing. And some days that's what matters, Becca, and you kind of have to stick to that. I've been so humbled and positively surprised and delighted by our DE&I webinars that I wrote this week's blog about it. It's just been wonderful. So thanks for taking action, and I'm proud of you, and keep up the good work. So that's awesome. So love that. Diana says, my shelter has an agreement to get returns from a certain animal supply website, right? Like Chewy or whoever. And a woman got a return label with our name on it. She called us convinced it was a scam and couldn't figure out why we wanted her to mail us anything. I love that. That's hilarious. Oh, God. Ma'am, I'm here to scam you for your kibble. I am here to scam you for your kibble. I love that. Yeah, Eva, I think that is something we should copy from Becca. So thanks, Becca. We'll be stealing that soon at the University of Manitoba. Matt. Hey, Matt. I finally got my hands on control of our pledge reminder process. Be careful what you wish for, Matt. What are some do's and don'ts to keep in mind as I look to freshen up our process? Don't make it look like an invoice from the cable company. Don't use words like payment or invoice or billing or, those kinds of things. Let's see. Let's see. The other thing I could think about is I found it frustrating when I was a major gift donor that they would mail me a pledge reminder, and I always gave online. So I had to contact them and get a link. So can you also email it out? I think that's a really good idea. I hated that they wasted money on mail. To me, when I didn't have a check to put in the envelope, I love a self mailer, like a self folding mailer, not just, and no window envelopes. Window envelopes are not recyclable and they're, bleh. So, and then for phonathon or like annual giving pledges, I don't do 30, 60, 90 anymore. I do 15, 30, 45. 15, 30, 45. And you know what's great for pledge reminders? Forgot to do this because you're already, ThankView. Use ThankView. I know you have an account. So I know you have an account. Matt and I are, I know he has a ThankView account because he does Otter. But use ThankView for your pledge reminders. Really, really good. Like really personal, great, easy way. And then they can just click a link and fulfill it. So those are just some of my hints. I have a really good annual giving pledge reminder template from Whitworth, because Whitworth are my favorite people, of course, on earth, for annual giving. So, yeah. Is that helpful? I hope that was helpful, Matt. We've had a week. I'm so excited for the future ahead. You guys stay tuned. In November, we're launching our subscription series. We have so much to come. I'm going to be working really hard near the end of the year here, and even giving up some of my vacation to. You can use ThankView for pledge reminders. You can use it for solicitations. You can use it for invitations, because you can send a PDF. So you can send PDF pledge reminders out. You can send receipts out. Right? Things outside the box on a case for support for ThankView. A lot of you online have ThankView, so please help our friend figure out some things. But I love ThankView for automated birthdays. I love ThankView for spur of the moment thanks. I love ThankView for inner circle dean's messages or president's messages that need to go out. I love ThankView for intimate invitations to small events. Gosh, I've seen ThankView used for surveying. So many. Go to the website. There's so many ideas out there. It's endless now that you can send PDFs. Take folks into your labs. I love that. Yes, Evertrue and ThankView are merging. They merged already. We had our launch party today. And I will tell you that what's coming is so exciting. Like, I've been involved in this for 6 months, and I was their matchmaker. I made a match with the two guys at a conference, and we've been working on this magic ever since. So, yeah. Oh, anytime you want student responses, ThankView is there. Yeah. So any way we can help, let us know, and reach out to success@thankview.com if you have any individual questions. My friend Allie and her crew answer that email. And if you have questions about Otter, which is endowment reporting, just go otter@thankview.com. I answer that email because I have 7. It sends a report of who, when, and where, clicked through. Lindsay, one of the things we're working on for the future with ThankView and Evertrue is when we send your endowment reports, when we send your endowment reports in the future, not only will it automatically record them into your database, but it will text the gift officer when the donor opens and reads the endowment report. So we're working on some exciting things. So the future's now, folks. I never thought I'd be developing software, but turns out I'm pretty good. Yeah, we try to be entrepreneurial, Michael. We want to meet your needs and exceed them. And that's what we're thinking about for 2022 and beyond, is how we can provide service. I so am dedicated to this industry. So we're working on it. We want you to have the things that you need that are utilities based. And for any of you that have FundDriver, check out FundDriver Impact. You can automate your endowment reports right out of FundDriver and send them straight through Otter. I developed that software with FundDriver. So I've been busy in my spare time here on the island. So if you have a FundDriver, talk to me, talk to them. It's really exciting what's happening with FundDriver and ThankView. So more to come. So thank you all so much for always being here and having great conversations. Hopefully you haven't had many donor scaries recently, but everybody congratulate Ashley for coming on board full time soon. The whole team is just working so hard to support you all. And yes, could Evertrue replace Razor's Edge? Eventually, Lauren, we're working on it. So world domination. Love yourselves, love others. Take some time to take care of yourself. I'm about to do some self-care here before I finish my day. Y'all have a great one, and I will talk to you soon.